I'm Dick Moberg, and welcome to our interview series. A lot of interesting people pass through our doors who are doing amazing work in brain monitoring. We bring them into our studio, put a mic on them, and get the personal stories you don't normally hear. We hope you enjoy them. Hi, I'm Dick Moberg, and I'm here with Dr. Baruch Ben Dor from Infrascan, a longtime friend, and we're going to talk about the Infrascanner, a product that he's been developing over the last couple of decades, maybe, right? And he'll tell you about the latest product, and we're going to look at how it's used and how he developed it. So, Baruch, let's see your device. What does it do?
So, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. Infrascanner is a handheld device for detection of bleeding in the brain after a traumatic brain injury or a TBI. The device is using near-infrared light, so there is a laser here and a detector. There is a disposable part with fiber optics that go through the human hair, so we don't need to shave patients. And it's using the fact that our brain is symmetrical, so we're measuring light absorption on the left and the right side of the head, and when there is a bleeding, we're able to detect asymmetry of the near-infrared signal. So this is handheld brain bleeding detector.
That's very useful in a lot of situations. And can you just name a few that you're using it in now?
Of course, it is very useful in early stages of trauma. So we're using that in ambulances. And of course, the biggest application we have is on the battlefield. The system is currently deployed in all Marines Battalion 8 stations to help in the initial triage of traumatic brain injury soldiers.
Yeah, and that's really cool. And I've followed a lot of that work, and it's very commendable, helping our soldiers. Really nice. So how did you get into this? You have a very interesting career.
I actually started my career in the military, but then shifted to the medical device industry, and at some point decided to do a postdoc at Penn with Professor Britton Chance. And during the postdoc, I discovered this technology, and I thought it would be great to move it from bench to bedside. And that's how Infrascanner was born, together with the School of Biomedical Engineering in Drexel that actually help to translate the core technology to an actual product.
Yeah, and I know if Britton Chance were alive today, he would really look favorably on what you've done with it. Yeah, we have a lot of friends in common, and I was telling you, I worked for Britton Chance when I was an electrical engineering student at Penn, and got to know him quite well, actually. And his family, his kids, and everything. He's quite a person. And then one of my classmates was Banu Onoral, who I don't know if she started, but she certainly was one of the first people in the biomedical engineering department at Drexel. So, and I know you work with her a lot. So we have a lot of people in common, a lot of friends. So that's cool.
It's a very good community.
Yeah, it's very good. And I think Drexel is really one of the leading groups in near-infrared technology. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. There is a very strong team there. Professor Kutulushi Zatoglu, Professor Hassan Ayaz. They're really two of the leaders of this field.
And the students there are very bright, and we have a lot of them here. So we're really happy to have that close by. So that's really good. So, I think one of the things, I have to tell a story. I go to this meeting, Medica, every year, and it's probably the largest gathering, sort of a business-to-business meeting, largest one in the world. I think it's probably 100,000 people go to this thing every year, and it's everything you want to buy in the medical field is there. And I go in the Pennsylvania booth, and your brother's always there, right, Joseph? So I've gotten to know him really well. And I remember he had a little table there, and he's always talking to these people in these little countries that, the military of small little countries that some of them never heard of. But to me, that's really cool. So you're basically helping these people in these countries that probably cannot afford a CAT scanner, or they have just a few. And they don't have them. And it seems to me that that's a great use of this. if you don't have them or don't have access to them immediately.
Absolutely. We're now fortunate to work with some of the leaders in this field, starting, of course, with the leader in traumatic brain injury in developing countries, or they're called today LMIC, low and middle income countries.
Exactly.
Is the group of neurosurgery from Cambridge.
Right.
With
Peter Hutchinson and those guys.
Exactly.
Yep.
With Andres Rubiano from Colombia. Mm-hmm. And of course with the phenomenal team that Duke has with Duke Global Neurosurgery.
All right, that's cool.
They just completed a 500 patient study in US and published that in Journal of Neurotrauma with phenomenal results. And
what's the result? It's like 90-some%. That was incredible.
95% sensitivity and specificity.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's great.
And now they completed also 700 patient study in Uganda, just to replicate those results. And eventually down the road, they want to use Infrascanner exactly in places that just don't have CAT scans.
No, I think that's a great application of your product. It's really nice. And so you were telling us a little earlier about the Moby study. Now I thought that was about me because I'm Moberg, but it's not, right? So tell us. Yeah, right.
Moby is a study of monitoring of brain injury. That's the Moby. Right. And this is a study that was initiated by the trauma team in University of Alabama in Birmingham, Professor Jan Jansen and John Holcomb. That together with Alex Valatka from who is now in Texas, started a study, multi-center study with DoD funding that will examine Infrascanner as a tool as part of the hourly checkups to monitor bleeds in the neuro ICU or in the emergency room to see if we are able to catch earlier expansion of hematomas before clinical deterioration happens.
That's a great study, and I can't wait to hear the results of that. It's going to be really interesting for neurocritical care applications of this.
Absolutely.
Cool. So what's next? What's on the horizon?
Today we're working with the Department of Defense on developing a miniaturized version of Infrascanner, kind of going the way of swimming suit. Smaller is better.
Yes.
The next version of the Infrascanner Model 2500 is supposed to be half the size, less than half a pound weight, and work 5 to 7 times longer on the same set of batteries as Model 2000. So we hope to do a user evaluation later this year, and hopefully within a year to get close to launching it as a product.
Oh, that's great. Well, good luck to you on that.
Thank you so much.
And thanks so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.